Hi guys, hope you had a good weekend. Welcome back to Monday Markets here on Learning Crypto. So, big week and even weekend last week. So you'll remember on Friday, Bitcoin was around 19k when we were doing our little Friday last orders Friday roundup. And on Saturday, we got another impulse from Bitcoin going all the way up to 21.5k, this monthly level that we had marked out. Basically the start of this downtrend back at the beginning of November where the FTX scandal broke out. So, as I say, go down to the daily. Huge impulse both on Friday and then on Saturday. We've had another little tap of 21.5k again today. So, what's going to happen next is obviously the big question. No one knows. But what I will say is that it's looking pretty overextended. The risk reward is definitely not in favour of longs at the moment. Of course, we could just carry on rallying. However, very risky to be jumping into any fresh positions, fresh longs now. Even shorting, it's a little risky. What I'm personally looking for and hoping for is a nice deep pullback on BTC and Ethereum. To then get in on some potential longs on some altcoins. And what you've got here on our watch list, alts to watch, and go through four altcoins that look very promising if we do get that pullback where they could potentially make some higher lows on the higher timeframes. Now, let's have a quick look at Ethereum. Ethereum not really at much of a level of resistance at the moment. It didn't quite make it up to its own level of 1721. However, on the daily, it's just flipped this 1516 level that we were talking about last week and holding it currently as support. Maybe another impulse up to 1656, or maybe it just loses this level. And as I say, it could be quite a deep pullback. If we do lose this level, it could come all the way back down to 1335. BTC itself, if we go to the daily time frame, not much in terms of support. You could potentially say you've got this level here at 20k, which could potentially hold, but lose that, and we're probably coming down to 19k. And as I say, on the higher time frames as well, that level looks pretty neat as well. Do we get a pullback that deep low? We'll have to wait and see. If we go to traditional markets, so there's no US market open today. So we'll just have to wait an extra day to see what the S&P does. Obviously, this is the ES futures. Right on that bearish, weekly bearish trend line. We'll have to see whether we get a breakout or not. If we go to the daily, again, we could see it get respected and come back down to test this level of support at 3936, or break out and rally up to 4110 again. Potentially even all the way up to the weekly level of 4175 like we did back in December. But of course, if the S&P takes a tumble, there is a good chance that crypto follows it. We obviously talked about the VIX on the Friday. When the VIX is low, look out below. We highlighted these areas. Obviously, the VIX is still really low. It's obviously still reading from the futures, but it's not actually shown on the chart, which is quite strange. So it's at 1834 currently, but as you can see, it's showing 1953 on the watch list. So probably, as I say, reacting to the S&P futures. So let's take a look at some of these altcoins that could potentially be good longs or spot buys for a sort of longer term swing trade if we get that pullback. So here we've got ADA. We've got this bearish trend line, as you can see, and then we've got these two weekly levels marked out. As you can see, we had this nice big impulse, broke above this weekly level, and we've made a higher high compared to where we were in December. So anywhere sort of between here and a pullback down to about 33 cents, I think is good. And then you've got a nice easy invalidation, which would just be a weekly close below this area, and you can cut your losses. So even if you were to jump in here, you're looking at maybe 6%, as long as you don't get a horrendous drop, like a trapdoor style scenario. Whereas if we're right and it does bounce up, you're looking at a pretty good risk reward. The next weekly resistance anywhere between sort of 13 and 17%. So you're at least looking at a 2-to-1. We could potentially go up and attack these highs here from October, which would obviously be a better risk reward as well. So that's definitely an option. AVAX, so similar sort of scenario. We've had this big impulse. We've broken the previous highs in December. We've broken this level of resistance here. You can see it's been resistance all the way through its timeline. Broke through, so looking for again a deeper pullback, which would see it come to around about $15 or so, and then potentially a bounce up to these weekly highs here from October. So if we just quickly chuck a line on there, make that a weekly. So again, pretty good risk reward there. Nice deep pullback, get filled around $15 to $14.50, and then potentially a bounce up to around that $20 mark. Moving on to DOT. So DOT is pretty similar to ADA in terms of it's sat right on its weekly support already. So again, nice big impulse, higher high compared to December, and now sitting on this weekly level. As you can see, it's been a pretty strong level in the past. So see if it holds again anywhere between here, current price, and $5.50, and then we could potentially see it bounce up, go right up to the top of this monthly resistance range. In fact, if we just go to the monthly and show you that. So it was the top of August and September 2020. It was also support in June, July, August, and then flipped to resistance in November, and currently it's had a little test as well as resistance this month. So right up to the top of there, maybe even further up to the top of these weekly wicks just here. Again, you're looking at pretty good risk reward. Nice easy invalidation would again just be a weekly close below this weekly level. And then finally VeChain, all weekly levels here, as we can see. So nice bounce off this lower support, broken this again, it's the same pattern, broken the highs from December, broken this weekly resistance, which again, as you can see, has been support and resistance all the way through its timeline, and it's come up and just about tagged this oh, didn't want that, undo. Just about tagged this upper resistance level here at about 2.1 cents. So we could see again a nice deep pullback, see if we can hold this area as a higher low, and then, as I say, bounce up again, back up there. Pretty good risk reward. Or of course, if the market really rallied, we could go even higher and maybe tag these top wicks here. So again, nice easy invalidation, just a weekly close below. So as you can see, risk reward definitely there. VeChain and is it AVAX require a bit of a deeper pullback, whereas ADA and DOT are sort of the here and now. So as I say, nice easy invalidation on them all. It's just a weekly close below there. Hopefully they're flipped resistances to support, and you know, unless we get that trapdoor scenario where it just absolutely collapses through, you should have a really nice tight risk reward, and yeah, good risk management. So let's see what happens this week in terms of what we've got coming up this week. So key events, we've got more earnings coming out, some pretty big ones. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Netflix as well. So we'll see what happens there. We've also got from some Eurozone CPI, and we've also got, what was the other big one? The initial jobless claims coming out in the US as well. So obviously that has a big factor to play on the Fed's decision when it comes to hiking rates. So could be another busy week. Certainly a very interesting week on the charts. Look forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully you found it useful. Let's see where we are on Friday. Look forward to seeing you then. So have a good week, and I'll catch you on Friday.